are here to actually provide all the support to develop students to become a confident graduate that is needed by the industry. Please feel welcome to visit us to see how we do our transformation of students.
Wipe it down. Wipe it down. Wipe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a talk with Tropical Spice Garden hosted by SEGi College Penang. We're very honored to have Miss Katharine, the Managing Director of Tropical Spice Garden, with us today.
For those who not yet register yourself, please register yourself before the half-time session in order to enter for the lucky draw. Remember, the winner must be in the chat to validate themselves as the winner, and they will be given 2-minute timers once we announce the winner name.
So now we'll give you 5 minutes now to register yourself.
During MCO period, my college was provide an online system called Blackboard for students to study at home.
And the lecturer uploads slides in Blackboard for revision about the subject and give tutorial also in the Blackboard too.
My lecturer always use this system to upload some notes, video, course descriptions, exercise and activity for students.
To make us to show that we can understand what they taught us.
We also can submit our assignment by using this system, so it's very convenient for me.
So we discuss about the subject by using Skype and Zoom. That's called online class.
The benefit of this online class is, for me, I feel like it's just the same as I'm in the classroom because I can see the lecturer's face, the lecturer's light, because of they are using this screen sharing, so I can see their notes and can also hear their voices and see faces and other students' faces also. So I think the feeling is just the same as we're in the classroom.
Hey guys, my name is Tae Sing and I'm taking diploma in hotel management at SEGi College Penang.
Hi guys, my name is Kesavan Son of Maniwaran. I'm from SEGi College Penang. My course is Diploma in Culinary Arts.
Hi everyone, my name is Azreen. I'm from Diploma in Hotel Management.
I hope everyone can stay at home, stay healthy and stay safe. That's all, thanks.
So thank you so much. Stay home and stay safe.
Thank you.
So before we start, anyone went to Tropical Spice Garden? You can just tell us your experience at there.
So leave a comment down below. Tell us about your story, your journey, or maybe your experience at there. Or maybe you are planning to visit Tropical Spice Garden after the pandemic. So comment from Kopi Hero did not went there before but planning to go after this live talk. So anyone leave a comment down. So another from Rong Kong Lo, never went before to Tropical Spice Garden. Never go before, planning to go when sem break. Seems like he has students. So anyone went before may share us your experience at the comments. Yes, Tropical Spice Garden is a wonderful place to visit. Yes, I love the feeling to be very close with the nature. Okay. So any more wish to share your experience there? So I think without any delay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start the live talk now. Once again, welcome to a talk with Tropical Spice Garden hosted by SEGi College Penang. We are honored to have Miss Katharine, the Managing Director of Tropical Spice Garden with us today.
As a start, we would like to thank Miss Katharine for making time in this session. So, Miss Katharine, are you ready?
Yep. Ready.
Katharine, can you actually start off by giving us a short introduction about yourself and also about Tropical Spice Garden? Tell us more about the story behind Tropical Spice Garden.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm Catherine. I am a Penang girl. Have a funny accent because I'm of mixed parentage. So my mom is English, my dad is Chinese. He's actually originally from Pahang, but we moved to Penang, years and years ago. So I was born here. Yeah, so the garden started 16 years ago. It was my business partners, David and Rebecca Wilkinson. They used to live on site. So they are a unique couple. They are artists, they are entrepreneurs, they're very creative people. And they saw a lot of potential in this land. So because they lived on site, they saw the potential, and the company that David was involved with at that time, which was a oil palm estate company, invested into the Spice Garden as a community project, really. And so it started from there. And so I joined the team very early on. I was part of the pioneering team. So way back in 2003, we opened the gardens. 2001, the plans were formed and the landscaping was done and all that. And so we opened to the public in 2003. So I was part of the pioneering team. I was one of the first staff at the Spice Garden, and I was just a worker. So I did everything. I sold tickets, I did tours, I welcomed groups, I designed the education programs. So that was the very early days at the gardens. Yeah.
So, thank you, Miss Katharine, for the introduction. And now let's start with our first question. What are the challenges faced during pandemic and how Tropical Spice Garden overcome it?
So it's, tourism has been hit really hard. When tourism is going well, tourism goes really well. But when things go wrong, tourism is the first to get hit. So this COVID-19 has been no different. The talk in the industry is that we are the first to go down and the last to recover. This is the feeling amongst all the industry players, whether you're a travel agent, you're an attraction, you're a hotel. Tourism has been hit very hard. Never before. I mean, even when I talk to some of my more senior associates in the tourism industry, we've never seen anything like this before. We've never seen where whole business has to come to a standstill, and that's what it was like from March 18th in Malaysia. Everything just stopped. There was zero income. So where a lot of other industries and businesses, they were at least running at 80%, 60%. Something was still going. We just came to a complete standstill. So it was very challenging. Because it was so unprecedented, so meaning no one knew, because it's never happened before, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what will the recovery be like, how long will it be, when will borders open again. So many unknowns, and even now we still feel like we're going through very unfamiliar waters. No one has ever been here before, right? There's never been a pandemic and a lockdown before, so it's very new for everyone. And I think in the early days, I'm really grateful for the associations I'm a part of, like the Association of Tourism Attractions Penang. We're very close knit. And the feeling was, that we're in this for survival. It was questions of whether are we going to make this or not? Are we going to come out of this pandemic still having a business? Can we still afford to keep our team? So those were very big challenges, and when it feels like we're slowly crawling out of the hole now. So certainly challenges of cash flow were very, very major and very real concerns. Concerns about how long and how do we sustain our workforce, and then the challenges of how do we reinvent the business, because our business was very reliant on foreign tourism, more so than domestic actually. So it's like, okay, so now we have no foreign tourists. Well, how are we going to reinvent the business? And so that's an ongoing process. We're still going through this process. And we are still overcoming it. I wouldn't say we're out of the hole yet. We are still trying to make this work. How are we overcoming it? You have to ask me, I think 6 months later, whether we've overcome it and whether we've done a good job of it. But I think this whole process this whole time has really given us rest. It's given us a pause. It's given us a lot of time to think, in my case, a lot of time to pray and really seek direction about what's going to happen next. And it's really forced us to come back to basics. I think that's the direction that the Spice Garden is going. We are wanting to come back to basics, come back to where we originally started. What was our original vision and dream? It's a garden for all, by all, and I think it's a vision. It's about being a garden for everyone rather than just being a tourism attraction. I think this is very close to my heart. So one of the things that we did, we created a recovery campaign, and it's called Hati dan Bumi, which literally translated means heart and soil. And that's what it is. It's really coming back to the heart of what the gardens is, what the business is, heart of me and my husband. We run this together. And soil, it's soil that's the starting point. That's the starting place, right? That's where life comes. It's from the soil. And so from here, it's really about connecting with community. So we're very focused on building community right now. So every third weekend of the gardens, we open the gardens for free, and we invite people to come and volunteer on the grounds of the gardens. So you can sign up for the third weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and you can work with us, work with our gardeners, work with the curator, and learn about how a garden works. How do you maintain a garden? How do you look after it? And just get involved, get your hands dirty, and do some meaningful soil work. There's something very soulful about that. And from this, we're also starting a community garden. So we are forming a team now of people that can come into the gardens anytime. And we've allocated maybe about acre or half an acre of land where we're going to be growing vegetables and herbs, and this is for the community to grow and then harvest and take home. So so we're really beginning to reinvent this whole space to be seen as a versatile space that can be used by many people. We want to reach out to creatives, people in the performing arts industry who want to do open mic sessions. We want people connect with people who dance, who see the potential of the Spice Gardens as a platform for dance, for music, for art, for photography. So much. There's so much that can be done. So we are really excited to be working with and identifying people who can see the potential in the gardens and see it as a space rather than just an attraction, a tourism attraction. So and maybe just to summarize, I sat at a business meeting last week, and a thought came to me that I feel like for the last 15 years, I've been trying to build a business, right? Like this has just been a business. I'm trying to, it's profit and loss and all that. And I feel like after this pandemic, for the first time, the focus is about trying to grow a garden. The business is secondary, but now it's really about, my heart is in trying to grow a garden and grow a community space. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Katharine, for the sharing. For the second question, how is it like to work in Tropical Spice Garden? What are the working environment at there?
It's a jungle office. The Spice Garden's very unique. I can't really describe it, but it's like working in the outdoors, and it's very unique and different. I mean, it's unlike any other office space you would ever be in. When you think of office, you think of, four walls and cubicles and air conditioned and shared spaces and all that. And it's just not like that. The Spice Gardens, the land we sit on, there were some old heritage buildings that have been there since 30s, 40s. So they're very, very old structures. And we've always used these old structures. So they weren't purpose-built as offices to suit our needs, but rather we moved in with whatever was existing and we used it as it is. So of course, there's always pros and cons. The pros being that, it's unique and it's lovely. It's, if you like old things, and it's got a lot of character. And of course, the cons are sometimes it doesn't quite work the way you want it to. So we have an office upstairs and downstairs, so space is not very efficient. Sometimes it's not very efficiently used. And so there's been a lot of challenges in terms of how we work. We have two offices that are like apart from each other. We're connected by like cable. What do you call it? What do you call that cable? I can't think now. But it's complicated. It's not an easy space to work with because it's uphill. There are gradients. We're very outdoor. So we're exposed to a lot of the elements, and it's not purpose built as an office. We've had to work, and we've had to be very. We've had to learn how to become very versatile when we work, and but it's special. We have monkeys coming in, we have creepy crawlies. Every day feels a little bit like a holiday because it's new faces every day. No day is the same at the garden. So in that sense, it's very exciting, and it's it's different, and I like it.
quite special experience to work in there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Katharine, for your answer. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going for a short break now. We will stop the registration for Lucky Draw after the short commercials.
So if you have friends, then please ask them to join us now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Here's come the third question, Miss Katharine. As you already mentioned and tell us about the working environment in Tropical Spice Garden, so I think that might be some of our audience that wish to join your team. So what are the requirements to join Tropical Spice Garden team?
Yeah, I think you've got to really like the place. I think you really have to enjoy our natural forest. You've got to believe in our purposes of, seeing this nature not as just a hot, humid, boring jungle with trees, but you've got to see its purpose in, biodiversity and its ecology, in its history, in its culture, and how all the stories of our natural heritage combines with our human lives. And I think someone has to understand that connection and to really enjoy being a part of the team. A lot of staff, of course, it's just a job. They come and go. But for the ones that really take something with them and the ones that I enjoy working with the most, I think, are the ones who really understand this. They love the place. The people that are really grow and thrive at the Spice Gardens are people who are versatile. They don't mind multitasking. So at the Spice Gardens, if you get hired for a certain role, most often you're not just hired for that role. You do many things. So the learning curve is very steep. If the person is eager, is open, is non-calculative, and willing to learn and go and try. So we always look for people with oomph and with fire, with people who are wanting to put themselves out there and who always want to grow and do more and don't just like sit back and just do the job. Those people are the ones who go extra mile, who really fight for the business. They fight for, the best customer service they can, who stay back the extra 20 minutes when they need to or have to. It's those people that really they set themselves above the average. Those are, it's attitude. Attitude's good attitude.
So is that needed any extra skill, or they can go there and start from zero and learn everything in the Tropical Spice Garden?
It depends. It really depends what you're being hired for. So for example, if I'm hiring you to jaga our social media, for example, then yes, I think to a certain degree you will need to have some know-how on how to and you got to be clever at social media. You got to know how to ramp up and do marketing campaigns and all that. And of course so the more skill you bring, then of course that will reflect in your salary and your package and all that. But having said that, I'm always really, I look for attitude first. Attitude's very important. Skill you can always teach. You can always train someone. They can come in fresh, but if they've got a good attitude and they're willing to learn and they're not, picky and choosy and I don't want to do this and no, this is enough for me, then that's very difficult. But people who want to learn and they have no skill, we are willing to work with those people. So it really depends. Depends what role you're in. If I've got an accounts manager, then yes, I expect you to know how to handle your ledgers and everything, right? And you need to be able to close accounts. If you come in too fresh, then it's also a bit difficult. So it depends on the role and everything.
All right, thank you, Miss Katharine, for your information. And now comes to our last question. Can you please share with us your proudest moment in Tropical Spice Garden?
Yeah, that was hard. There's been many. I think maybe three maybe stand out for me. One of them was back in 2010 when we took over the business. So as I mentioned earlier, I was one of the first staff when I went in. I was I sold tickets at the door. So I was really, I did everything. It was a bit like a coolie, to do everything. but that was where I really fell in love with the project. That's where I learned everything inside out of the gardens, right? So no regrets at all. And then that was way back in 2003. So when there was an opportunity that arose for my husband and I and another couple to buy out the business. So I went from worker to manager to managing director. So I think that was a proud moment for me because I was young. I became a manager when I was like 26 and I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have that experience because I come from a social science background. So I'm a social science graduate, sociology and education. So I graduated from the UK and I came home, and business admin, business management was not my skill set, but I loved the gardens, and so that's I guess that's what saved me, right? When you love something, you're willing to learn, you're willing to. So I always say, I was this young manager, and I had to sink or swim, right? I was just thrown into the deep end, and I just had to somehow make it. So over the years, you just grow in experience. And so finally, when the business became ours, or at least partly ours, that was a very proud moment for me. I think one of the other proud moments was when we hit our 10-year anniversary. A lot of people always ask, is this sustainable? Is your project, and what they mean is, are you financially viable? Are you able to sustain this business and keep going and pay salaries and make a living from it? And, by the grace of God, yes, we've made it. We made it 10 years. Now we're 16 years. So during our 10th year anniversary, and just looking around at, what you've achieved and how far you've brought the company, that was a proud moment. And I think every single time until today, when a visitor comes up to me and just says, wow, you have such an amazing garden, or you're so lucky to be able to work in a place like this, or someone, some blogger or journalist writes such a nice article and takes beautiful pictures. All those times are really heartwarming, and it makes me feel really proud when, just a visitor says something like that. I've really enjoyed walking in your gardens. I think those are really special moments for me, and I feel like, wow, there's someone who really appreciates what we do and understands what we do. Not everyone understands what we do. I realize that the Spice Garden is not for everyone. I used to want to make it for everybody. I think when I was younger, I was like, no, it's, everyone has to come to the gardens. Everyone needs to love nature. And I realized it's not true. I can't convert everyone. I wish, when you go for all these marketing courses, they say, you've got to focus on the one thing, and you've got to know your target audience. And I was also like, well, my target audience is everyone. Everyone needs nature. And although I still believe that, I don't believe my audience is everyone now. It's really people who get it, who understand nature, who appreciate it, who understand this whole lifestyle of sustainability. And that's my target audience. And yeah, so yeah, we're not for everyone. We're very niche. We're a niche product. We're not like a mass tourism kind of product. So when the right person comes and they say, wow, this is amazing, I'm really proud and I'm happy. Yeah, it really makes me happy.
Yeah, that gives you actually the motivate to how to continue your job at there.
Yeah, true.
So thank you, Miss Katharine, for the answering. Now it's the Q&A section. Anyone from the floor has question to ask Miss Katharine, may leave your comment down below.
And we will pick 2 or 3 questions from the comment to ask Miss Katharine.
So it seems like I got the first question for Nomatura Osman. You has many educational programs. Which is the most famous?
Yeah, so our education programs are mostly designed for younger kids, so primary and kindy. Before the lockdown, we were trying to also make our programs good for secondary as well and above. So yeah, so mostly we've been most successful with the primary and the younger children. I would say the most famous one would be either the spice identification ones, or like where they have to identify, they got to feel, taste, smell all the spices. That's been quite good. My Kampong Garden's a good one as well. And in it we run different craft sessions. So the natural dyes session is always very popular. So so the young kids get to use color in things using natural plants and dyes. That's always been popular. And in any of our sessions that involve treasure hunts, the kids always like that.
So another question from Kasawa Mani. Any special cooking class for students?
Oh, well, so I was saying that for our campaign recovery campaign, it's about reaching out to the community. And so one of the ways that you can see this is our rates have come right down. So we're only charging 12 ringgit entrance now to the gardens, and that's unheard of. We want to, and that's how serious we are about wanting to make this place accessible to everybody. And I believe there's student rates as well. I can't remember now off the top of my head. But so the same thing goes with our cooking classes. So we used to sell our cooking class half-day package at 260, and now it's only at 135. So we're trying to make this more, again, more affordable for students and for everyone, really. So when you ask me about special cooking class for students, not on a day-to-day basis, but if you guys organized, let's say, a group of 10, I'm sure we can work out something. We can work something out.
Okay, so here comes another question for Sabrina Sasudin. Do Tropical Spice Garden have any plan in developing or promoting wellness spa package?
Yeah, that's a good question. Several years ago, that was my interest to see whether this is something that we could establish. But I just didn't. It just seemed a big investment, and we just weren't sure. So for now, we don't have any plans to. In terms of our retail, we have our own aromatherapy range. So we do have fantastic massage oils, and we have great stuff for the spa, but we don't have our own spa. The other thing I should mention is, perhaps one of the things that also holds us back is that the land we're on is not our land. We don't own the land. And so sometimes long-term planning is a bit difficult for us because we don't necessarily have a long-term lease. So a lot of the things that we've wanted to do, we tend to always hold back. So honestly, we're just not very sure about the lease. So and the spa is one of that. It would be quite a high investment, and if our lease isn't long enough to justify the cost of such a high investment, it makes us kind of a bit hesitant sometimes. But it's a great idea.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go for lucky draw session, we would like to introduce the special guest that will be coming next week, Mr. Alan Tan, the Managing Director of the Habitat Penang.
Okay, so let's start the lucky draw session now. Today we are giving away 2 sets of official merchandise from Tropical Spice Garden. Please remember to comment "I'm the winner" in the comment when you see your name announced on the screen. You will be disqualified if the 2 minutes timer is over.
We will only spin for 2 times. If the winner fails to validate themselves, we will give out the prizes during off stream.
So let's see who will be the first one that win away the first lucky draw prizes. So let's see who will be the lucky one. So congrats to Lo Hui Sing. Lo Hui Sing, I will please comment quick before the time runs out. So while waiting for the winner, let's answer some questions from the audience. So a question from Kokui Hiro. Can we buy spice from Tropical Spice Garden?
Yeah, sure you can. As in the dried form, yes you can. We do sell spices, and as far as possible, we try to import spices from its country of origin. So in particular, we are well known for our cinnamon because we directly import our cinnamon from Sri Lanka, which is, the highest and best quality cinnamon found. And our pepper comes from East Malaysia. Again, great quality. Our nutmeg and cloves are sourced locally from Penang. And it's great quality. Penang has fantastic quality nutmeg and clove. In terms of plants, we don't generally sell too many plants, but if you identify certain things, so for example, if you come in and you say, I'd love to buy a nutmeg seedling, we can arrange that for you, and we do sell it like that. But there's no place to go and buy. And if you come along for our Gardeners Arise, which is the gardening volunteer program, you can walk away with some free stuff. Kenny's very generous like that.
Okay, so Rina, are you here? Please comment quick before the time's run out. So any more questions from the audience? So here come a question from Katwan. Miss, do you recommend us to grow spice in our house?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's very interesting. During this MCO, I think there's been quite a few surveys done, and the percentage of people growing food and cooking has been on the rise. Like, so many people now are cooking like they've never cooked before. And people are growing gardens and home gardens, and they're finding out about all sorts of things like never before as well. So I think this is, in the face of a crisis, there's a natural tendency in us to return to something that's very basic within us, and it's returning to the soil, returning to the earth, So, and I think there's something very healing in that, and it's a natural instinct almost. So I definitely recommend you to grow spices in your home. Of course, the only thing is when you talk about spices, how do you define a spice? Most people, typically a spice are the condiments which are dried. So they would be like your cardamom, cinnamon, your black pepper, nutmeg, and then your wet, I call them wet spices. Some people call them herbs, things like ginger, lengkuas, turmeric, etc., lemongrass. So the only thing is they can be quite big. So depending on your space, but certainly herbs can be grown even on balconies, and so definitely, I would definitely recommend you to grow herbs and spices.
It will be difficulty on we take care of the spice by ourselves in house.
It depends. Each plant is different. They have a different character, different personality. They got different needs. Every plant has a different need. Some are shade loving, some are full sun loving, some don't need a lot of nutrients, some need a lot. So it all depends. And the best way is just experiment. You'll be surprised. You can just go to the market. You can buy, let's say like coriander with roots. You just try putting it in water and then just experiment. You can try experimenting with seeds. You can even go down to the local spice market, pick up some dried seeds, experiment. Or you can go to the seed shop on Beach Street, and it's called, I think, Sun Huat, and they sell a whole variety of seeds. And you can join WhatsApp groups. There are, in fact, I'm part of one called the Ulam Gardening Club, and people are always exchanging plants, and they are exchanging seeds and knowledge. So there's a real community out there of people who are growing things. So, and they can teach you a lot. And of course, when all that fails, Google is excellent. It's an excellent resource. There's so many videos and tips out there of people who are trying and learning, and you can really learn a lot. So if you have interest and time, it can be done.
Okay, so seems like the winner is not here. The time is up. So let's see who will be another one lucky one who win away our another lucky prizes.
So the first one didn't make it?
Yeah, I did not make it. He did not comment. I'm the winner.
Oh, okay.
So the another winner go to Jennifer. So Jennifer, are you here? Please comment quick in the chat now to validate yourself. So same while waiting for the winners, let's answer unreading question first. Is it provided live observation study for biology students?
Sure, why not? Why not? It depends what you want to observe. But so over the years, we've become a site for several students from several departments coming in. So, one of the most successful stories is Yap Jolene, and she's now a PhD student studying primates. And her focus has been on the langur, the dusky leaf langur, and she headed up the NGO called Langur Project Penang. And she first started studying the langur monkeys, or we know them as the dusky leaf monkey. They're the black monkeys with the white eyes. And the Spice Garden was the first study site that she used. And that was like 3, 4, 5 years ago. We've had lecturers who observe bats. They've come in. We've had a French PhD student who studies colugos, or the flying lemurs. They are nocturnal animals, so she would come at night to watch the colugos at the gardens. So there's plenty of opportunity, because all the our gardens is alive. It's a secondary forest, so we've planted amidst a secondary forest. So there's plenty of wildlife that still roam and roam through the gardens as if it's their natural habitat. So there's plenty to see depending on what your area of speciality is.
Okay, seems like another question from Michelle. I have checked the ticket online. I'm 30 ringgit for a family of 4. How if it's a group of 4 friends? Is it possible?
Sorry, the family's 2 kids and 2 children. Sorry, 2 adults and 2 children. So the group of 4 friends would be 12 times 4. So it's 48. It's not that much more expensive.
Yeah.
And I believe I have a student rate. I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe I have a student rate for an audio. So for example, for the 12 ringgit is for entrance only. And if you want to add on a guided tour, or you add on an audio tour, then there's additional cost for adding on the audio, which is an audio device. Or if you want to add on for a live guided tour, there are additions. And so, but if you're a student, you add on less than an average adult.
Okay, so another question from Otmar. Can you suggest us plant that is good to neutralize house environment?
Okay, so what do you mean by house? And what do you mean by neutralize? You mean like clean the air?
Just clean the air, or like look like green, I think.
Sorry?
Maybe I think it's just like, how to say, like warm out the environment of the house, like it's like green.
So you mean, is that more aesthetic, or is that more like to detox the air? Is that what you mean? This is probably a question. I mean, for home decor, then I think it's really what's pleasing to your eye. Of course, you want to avoid poisonous plants, because if you have pets or young children, then that's obviously not a good thing to have. Yeah, this is probably a question more for my husband, because he's the green fingers of the Spice Garden. He's the curator, so he can advise, what works, what doesn't. The one plant that comes to my mind in terms of providing good oxygenating and cleaning the air is this plant called Spathiphyllum. It's got lovely green leaves with a kind of white flower. Sometimes it's called a peace lily. That's a nice plant, indoor plant. You want to avoid plants that need too much sun. Detoxing the air using spice plants. That's a good question. Generally, I've never. Have I come across it? No. I mean, usually for detoxing the air would be more the ornamentals, because most of the time the spices need full sun. So generally they don't make good house plants because generally you need them to be outdoor under full sun most of the time. So yeah, you'd be looking for different kinds of plants in terms of cleaning the air. But really, any plant in the house is a good thing. They all are, good. They all give you oxygen. So as long as they're a good indoor plant, don't need full sun, don't need a ton of water, they're generally good. They'll be good.
Okay, so seems like both of the winners cannot make it. So we'll
dear.
the prize winner off stream. So here's come to the end of today's live talk session. Once again, thank you, Miss Katharine, for making time to this session.
And thank you everyone who joined us today. Hope you like it and see you next week.
So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Katharine.
Thank you so much, everyone. All the best.